for defrauding customers. Mr. Siaka, were you ripping people off? Investigators say Siaka sold RVs for his customers. He would tell a person he sold their trailer for $6,000 when in fact he sold it for $8,000. He would then pocket the extra cash, leaving his customers with less than promised.
And very serious in one case, one of the complaints, they were selling their vehicle because they needed money for medical expenses. And here they've lost several $1,000s that they could have had, towards those expenses.
A number of customers on the lot were surprised by the raid and suddenly decided not to do business at Action RV. Siaka's wife denied anyone was being ripped off at the place, saying all the customers agreed to the sales.
But everybody's got checks, everybody. Why would they turn over the titles then? Why would the new owners be able to get a registration?
Now, that lot is just west of Cocoa on Route 520. Siaka faces a variety of charges, 7 charges for ripping off his customers. The lot is still full of trailers. In fact, police believe there might be some more victims of this scam. If you've done business with that Action RV and Homes sales place in recent times and you have some suspicions, contact the Brevard County State Attorney's Office Consumer Fraud Division. They'll help you straighten the whole thing out. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Ross. Daytona Beach's fire chief is quitting the job he's had for 11 years. The spokesperson for the city manager's office says Chief Mike McGivney submitted his letter of resignation stating that it will be effective in October. The chief came under fire and was suspended without pay for a week earlier this year when he mooned 2 acquaintances over the railing of the city's fireboat. McGivney had faced pressure to resign then, but says his resignation this fall will allow him to pursue other interests in the Daytona Beach area.
Well, it's official now. Congressman Bill Nelson has named State House Speaker Tom Gustafson as his running mate in the governor's race. Nelson made the announcement this morning in Tallahassee. Scott Phelan was there.
The Bill Nelson gubernatorial campaign continues to face a double-digit deficit in the polls. So Nelson has chosen a controversial, charismatic, retiring House Speaker to be his number 2 man. Tom Gustafson of Fort Lauderdale.
I wanted a lieutenant governor who would be a full-fledged partner at the head of Florida's government. Someone who will work tirelessly for the common good and is clearly capable of stepping into the governorship if necessary.
Gustafson is known as an extremely intelligent and tough political infighter who's an expert on the inner workings of Florida government, but he also carries some heavy baggage. Detractors claim his ideas are far out, he talks too much, and he isn't a good listener. Governor Martinez campaign manager Max Stepanovich said Nelson with Gustafson are 2 candidates from outer space. Nelson was a one-time astronaut.
I've never been to outer space. Bill has, and when he was there, Mac was jealous, so there's nothing I can do about it.
Being from outer space isn't the only disparaging label some have put on a Nelson campaign. Some are also calling the House Speaker a whirlybird, a label he picked up during this last session of the legislature.
I actually have a whirlybird, which is where I think it came from. It was a model plastic kid's toy that was given to me by Representative Larry Hawkins.
The Nelson campaign says Gustafson was their first choice for lieutenant governor, and it's hope Gustafson, who is popular in his hometown, will be able to deliver vote-rich Broward County to Bill Nelson on Election Day. At the Capitol, Scott Phelan, Channel 9, Eyewitness News.
The Democratic primary for the governor's race is about 7 weeks away. Well, a tense situation in Winter Park at this hour. Police SWAT teams have surrounded the Winter Park Greens apartment complex at Lee Road and 1792. We are told that a couple had an argument this morning over their young daughter. The man threatened to kill himself. Police were called, and now the man is barricaded inside the apartment. This video is just now in. He is armed with a shotgun. Somehow the woman and her child got away. They are safe now. We have a news crew on that scene, and we'll update this story as the information comes in.
In other news, some anxious moments this morning in Osceola County when a small plane was forced to make an emergency landing.
That landing was just a few feet away from a canal, and Sharon Dennis is there right now, and she joins us with this live report. Sharon, what happened?
Well, we're right now in the middle of Kissimmee and St. Cloud, near Florida's Turnpike, at about 3 miles from the Kissimmee Airport. The pilot of this Cessna behind me took off from the airport around 8 o'clock this morning. Minutes later, he noticed some engine problems and brought the plane down between the St. Cloud Canal and fenced-in pasture land. An Osceola County Sheriff's Office spokesperson says the pilot and passenger weren't injured. The passenger was planning to take some aerial photos of this area when the engine problem started happening. Now, the pilot wouldn't comment on his emergency landing. However, a Sheriff's Office spokesperson says he apparently was very calm, very collected, when he made this landing this morning. Back to you.
All right, well, what could have been a tragic situation. Thanks, Sharon. Well, if you are planning to take the state driver's license test, you will soon have one less thing to worry about: parallel parking.
State highway officials say they plan to drop parallel parking from their road test by the 1st of September. Tony Williams is live at the driver's license office in Winter Park. Tony.
Can't you just hear everyone breathing a sigh of relief?
Absolutely.
Actually, some counties have already started, but every county, as of September 1st, you will no longer have to do parallel parking. Now, just a few minutes ago, we went inside the driver's license test, got in the long line where people are waiting to take their test, and got some reaction. Here's what the people think about this change.
I think the legislature is failing their responsibility to the public. People should have to parallel park. You know, if they're not proficient out of that, they're going to damage someone else's car.
You never parallel park? No, never have. Only once, and it was in the test, so.
I'm glad, because I try to avoid parallel parking because I can't hardly parallel park. And I flunked it when I tried to take my test.
You just parallel park?
I just paralleled park. I kept my fingers crossed and I didn't hit the curb.
What'd you score on the test?
Perfect, actually.
You think you could go downtown Orlando right now and squeeze right into one of those little spaces?
No.
What tip would you give to 16-year-olds about to take the test between now and September 1st?
Wait till September 1st to take it.
All right, well, if you can't wait till September 1st, if you do have to come out here and take a driver's test and you do have to parallel park, fear not. We have gone to Confederate Auto Driving School. We have gotten Morris DeHaan. Hello, Morris. Confidence, right? Confederate. Morris is going to show us quickly how to parallel park. I'll walk along with you while you give directions, Morris, all right?
While I give direction. Okay. I have to parallel the car with the flag or with the pole that when they, in order to come in to make a parallel parking, I have to level the car straight with the flag up front, which is the pole. In a testing site will be the pole in front as well.
Morris, how big is the traditional parallel parking space?
It's 24 feet long by 7 feet wide.
All right, now let's see you do it. You got all eyes of Central Florida watching you, Morris. Don't mess up with your Confederate driving school. We really know it's confidence driving school. I know, Morris. Morris says it's confidence. All right, there he goes. He's backing up. He told me you put the flag in your back right window.
I did, and I'm past that stage. Okay, now we're going back all the way to parking.
Like an old veteran, Morris. Nice job. He slipped right in the spot. How long did you say it is? 24 feet long?
24 feet long, yes.
And this has traditionally been something that has tripped people up on their driver's test.
That's right.
Not when they've been to Morris, though, right?
Okay, I'm done.
All right, it's that simple, folks. You don't have to be Mr. Genius Mario Andretti to get in that spot. Morris showed you how to do it. We want to point one final thing out. We are stopping the parallel parking, but there's a new kind of head-on parking test. It's the kind of parking you do when you're in a shopping center. Some folks here at the driver's test place told me that that test is just as hard as parallel parking, so you're not totally out of the woods. Marty and Ken?
Well, I can't imagine a head-on parking test.
Just like you do in the shopping mall parking lot.
I see. All right. Thanks a lot, Tony.
All right.
You know, Danny Trainer's become an expert at parallel parking. He's been doing it for
So long.
many years. So he's got AccuWeather next.
And will there be plenty of sunshine today for the solar race cars on their way to Michigan? We'll have the latest when Eyewitness News at noon comes right back.
Hi, I'm Ben Crenshaw, here to invite you to come share the excitement
at Orange Buick GMC, where you could win one of over 20,000 exciting prizes like $250,000 cash, New Buick Park Avenues, Regal sedans, giant screen TVs, camcorders, and VCRs. Weekly winners will also receive first flight golf clubs from International Discount Golf. Over $2 million in prizes, but you have to register to win. So stop by Sonny King's Orange Buick GMC today.
Don't miss it.
Hunt down bugs in Raid's newspaper ad, and you could end up with a bug of your very own, a VW bug. That's the prize in Raid's Bug Hunt Sweepstakes. You could end up with the niftiest bug in town, a VW bug.
Now at Albertsons, save on Raid products and enter the Bug Hunt Sweepstakes. And at Albertsons, you always get supreme meat and produce at everyday low prices because we think like you do.
Out here, folks are waking up to a fresh, creamy taste with no cholesterol. Farm Rich non-dairy breakfast creamer. Fantastic on flakes, beautiful on berries, creamy in coffee. Farm Rich, fresh, creamy taste, no cholesterol.
Amazing Blue Star ointment stops itching fast. Jock itch, ringworm, psoriasis, tetter, and removes corns and calluses. Blue Star ointment, the one that's guaranteed. Ask for it.
The college solar car racers left Tallahassee this morning for day 3 of the GM Sun Race.
The teams will travel about 200 miles on the back roads today from Florida State Capitol to Alabama's. The trip to Montgomery is one of the longest hauls in the 11-day race to Detroit. The FIT team from Melbourne ran into more mechanical problems, and they will have another late start today. However, they have advanced to 21st place. The California State car remains in first place in the race.
Can you imagine how hot it would be to drive in that car from Tallahassee to Montgomery? No air conditioning. And those little
Laying
cars,
down,
and it is so
looking
hot.
over your feet.
That's right. That's a
Hi.
hot part of the country.
Hi. I wonder if you have to parallel park your solar car.
I bet they couldn't do that.
I don't think they have rear views in those things.
I don't know if they have a reverse gear, to tell you the truth, because that would be...
Well, they're having trouble going forward, so.
That's true. That's right. They ran over some gum yesterday, and it stopped them for 2 hours.
We really do wish him a lot of luck, because, I mean, that's a big project.
It's
They've
a
been
good
working on that for
project.
2 years.
Yeah, but it sounds like those California people have really got
Perfected it a little
yeah,
bit.
they've got
They
a lot
have
of
more sunshine.
Well, they've got more experience. I've been doing it for like 2 years. When I was taking driver's ed, no automatic transmissions, and they used to put a soda pop bottle on the floor, and you couldn't, if you took off too fast, the bottle fell over. That was
Is that
wrong.
right?
And if you stopped too fast, the soda bottle fell wrong. And we all had, of course, parallel park.
They should make the rules tougher than easier.
I think
There's
so.
so many wacky drivers on the road.
Right. I know.
How to drive on I-4.
And we need to bring back the stations, the test stations where they test your car and make sure it's...
Oh, inspection station.
Inspection
Yeah.
stations. We need to bring that back.
Oh, well.
Okay, enough political stuff, and don't east-west. Let me show you what's going on around Central Florida. Things are pretty quiet. Here's an interesting thing that happened yesterday. The high temperature in Ruskin or Tampa, whichever you prefer, was 96 degrees yesterday. Then they set a record low of 68 degrees, and they ended up with over an inch of rain. The heat, the cool, and rainfall. No rainfall out there right now. However, the day is young. Well, a little bit down here around Osceola County, down around the pasture lands. Let me show you what's going on the lightning indicator. Fairly quiet. The day is young, though, and temperatures are working their way up. It'll probably be around 94, 95 degrees today. Here now on a roll is a look at some of the other cities across the country. Find out how other folk are dealing with the weather. Up around the Great Lakes, temperatures dropped down into the 40s last night, so they definitely have a cool wave. That, and if you want to go out to Montana or Wyoming, you might find some cooler temperatures, but if you're staying right here, overnight, Daytona Beach, 72 degrees, 76 in Melbourne, 73 in Orlando, and 78 in Vero Beach. I don't see any major change. We do see a little storm over the west part of Africa, not the coast yet. It's a rainstorm that once it moves out into the ocean, it could take on some tropical tendencies. This could be the mark of the beginning of the tropical season as far as storms go. However, that's weeks away, so don't worry about it. I was just mentioning it as a passing remark. A little almost stationary front has moved down into the Ohio River Valley, and they've received a great deal of rain up in those areas. Right now, the ground is so saturated that they're afraid they're going to end up with flash flooding. Just nowhere for the rain to go. Around the southeast, you can still see that glob of clouds out in the Gulf of Mexico. That could, of course, instigate some shower activity down around the southwestern part of the state, and with the heat and humidity, and the atmosphere right now is just soaked with moisture. We could have showers anytime. Up in the northeast, things are not that great either. Cloudy conditions, they extend on back into the mid-Mississippi Valley. Even areas of the western United States are reporting some showers. Arizona, we're reporting some rain in New Mexico, too. They probably enjoy it, but it runs off so quickly. It doesn't really soak in. Here's where the soaking rains are, around the lower part of the Great Lakes. Around the state of Florida, we can paint in a little bit of rain, mostly down around the southern part of the state. Right now, a couple of lows trying to make their way to the eastern United States. Right now, they're moving so slow, they're almost stationary. In West Yellowstone, Montana last night, 39 degrees. In Red Bluff, California, it was 110 to be the extremes across the United States. Really no major change in our weather pattern. Should be maybe October when we see some change. Currently in Orlando, temperature is 89 degrees. Winds are out of the east at 5, and the barometer is steady. Daytona Beach, it's 87 degrees. Winds are out of the south at 3, and the barometer is steady. Here's the AccuWeather forecast for Central Florida. I bet you knew this one. Sunny and hot. High today, 94. Overnight, 75. The chance of rain is about 35%, but we're going to up that chance of rain as we get towards the weekend. We're going to get up to around 50% by Friday and Saturday. And still, the lakes are just down.
Oh, sure are.
Remember that house we used to show all the time that had the garage? It was underwater because they built when we had the drought. Well, I went by that house the other day, and they now can use the garage
Is
again.
that right?
Yes.
People need to conserve, for sure. Well, if you're a parent who avoids taking your kids out to eat, we'll have something to tell you about.
A place that turns a dining experience into a family outing. Steve Jervey is going to tell us about it next. Stay with us.
If you took all the stores that sell appliances and asked how many actually sell the top 3 name brands, who'd be left? Only Brand Central at Sears. GE, Whirlpool, and Kenmore. The brands you want at the store you trust.
This 20 cubic foot Kenmore frostless refrigerator is just $599.99. Only at Brand Central at Sears nationwide.
Have you tasted Dole Pure and Light? 100% fruit juice never tasted like this.
Zing, zing, zing goes the cherry. Zing, zip, zoom, tangerine. Zing, zap, zip goes the raspberry. Zing, bang, boom goes the peach.
Nothing comes close to the refreshing zing you get from all 4 unique flavors of Dole Pure and Light. 100% fruit juice delivers the exciting real fruit taste you've been waiting for. Try it today and taste that.
Zing!
Listen, you and I are fathers, right? And we both have a teenager into drugs and alcohol. Now, if I tell you how you can help your kid, will you do it? Pick up the phone and call Glen Bay. They specialize in treating teenagers with alcohol and drug problems, and they have special programs to help every member of your family. Now do it.
Call Glen Bay Hospital of Orlando at 352-6550.
A lot of families don't eat out if they have children because it can be such a hassle. But at least one restaurant in town is catering to the way it serves its customers, keeping kids in mind. Steve Jervey is there now, and he joins us live. Steve.
Well, Marty, it used to be called the Village Restaurant, but now they've added a new twist in bringing Mickey Mouse. Of course, the big theme out here at Walt Disney World is now called Chef Mickey's Village Restaurant. It's geared a little more towards families in every aspect, I guess, more of a menu for the kids, and the prices have also been lowered to help compete with some of the other restaurants around the area, so that is a bigger appeal as well. At some times they've doubled their business out here, so it's definitely been a turn for the better for these folks out at Disney. I want to go ahead and show some of our videotape while we talk to Werner Kruger, the head chef, the executive chef of all the restaurants out here at the Disney Village, and you guys have really made a pretty good turn for the better out here with this new.
Yeah, you can say that. We're doing pretty well since we implemented the Chef Mickey's program. And of course, children of all ages, they enjoy that very much, particularly when Chef Mickey, what is at night when he appears on the table side and celebrating their birthday or whatever it is, and people enjoy their meal.
Okay. And speaking of meals, as long as we have everything laid out here, let's talk a little bit about what's on the menu. We're going to cook what here today?
We're going to cook Mediterranean chicken.
Okay.
That is a boneless chicken breast, Mediterranean style.
Okay, let's go ahead and...
Especially developed by Chef Mickey.
Okay. And you had nothing to do with it, did you, Werner?
I had nothing to do with it, no.
That's right, okay.
We have olive oil here, and we have this boneless chicken breast.
Just marinated or anything?
No, that's not marinated. We have pre-seasoned flour here, and the recipe is available. Anybody would like to have that, I think they could call you, and we have recipes available.
And actually, if you come out here too, if people like something on the menu, they can take a sample of that back with them, can't they?
They can a sample of what?
A sample menu. I mean,
sample menu. Yeah, we have the menu book to sell, and if I may share this with you, it's like a book. We have the recipes in there. The menu is here, and then each one has, of course, recipes. We just have to find one, like this here.
All right, we got about less than a minute here, Werner.
Okay. Well, this is very simple to do. Basically, you saute the chicken, and then you have a recipe in there for your sauce. And this should go a little longer. Okay. But just let's add the sauce to it. All your spices are basically in the sauce. And you can do that sauce the day before. You can use it for some other items. And you turn the heat down a little bit and you simmer this for 10 to 15 minutes. Then you just add the rice to your dish, put this to it.
Let's show the final product. We're going to wrap it up.
The last thing.
Okay, and then of course we're rushed for time here, but you can get the idea of what we're doing. And that, of course,
and this would be the final dish.
Okay. It's the Chef Mickey's Village Restaurant out here, and they also have simpler meals, especially for kids, things like hamburgers and that type of thing that kids really like. And what do we got?
By the way, I understand this is your birthday today, Steve. Happy birthday.
Thank you, Werner.
Happy birthday.
And of course, Mickey of Chef Mickey
is presenting a cake.
Yeah, I'm very happy about that. It's my birthday, Marty. Did you know that?
No, we didn't know that. We were just saying so in here.
Better get me a gift.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, we will. Bring back something. All right, thanks, Steve. Eating with kids is one kind of experience. Getting them potty trained is another. We'll get some advice when we come back.
I've learned something about mildew. It's caused by moisture in the air. I've also learned how to get rid of it with Damp Rid.
Damp Rid, the easy, safe, and reusable way to absorb moisture and musty odors in your home. Just pour these moisture-absorbing crystals into the Damp Rid container and place in problem areas such as closets, bathrooms, campers, boats, and basements. You'll see results in days, and Damp Rid lasts for weeks.
Rid your home of mildew and musty odors the easy way with Damp Rid.
Available at fine stores everywhere.
Wherever you look, there's a winner. Plenty of good times and lots of fun. Wherever you go, there's a winner. You could be the next one.
People all over Florida are playing Instant Cash, the new instant game from the Florida Lottery with lots of winners.
Lots of winners, so come on and play. This is your lucky day. Wherever you look, there's a winner.
We're getting ready to compete against your favorite ABC daytime stars.
WFTV Channel 9, 74 Wins, and Whisper 104 will play softball against stars from Loving, One Life to Live, All My Children, and General Hospital.
So come out to Orlando's Tinker Field on Saturday night, July 14th at 7:30 p.m.
Gates open at 6:30.
We'll see you there.
More than half of all mothers leave for work every morning. How do their kids feel about having a working mom? On the next Oprah Winfrey Show.
Wednesday afternoon at 4.
If your child is ready to get out of the diaper stage, you might be unsure of what's ahead, especially if you haven't done this before. In this edition of Surviving Parenthood, Marcia Reese looks at how to begin.
It's important to potty train kids when they're ready for it and not before. Sarah is almost 3 and her sister Michelle is almost 2. Their mom began training them together when other people compared her kids' development to theirs.
It made me feel like my child was behind in her abilities.
Don't let the pressure of competition influence you. The first thing to consider when judging readiness is age. Most child care experts agree 18 months is about the earliest any child has the muscle control to succeed. When a toddler goes longer and longer with a dry diaper, she may be ready for training. The other signs will be verbal. They'll tell you they're uncomfortable from being wet or dirty. Sometimes they'll just come right out and say they don't want diapers anymore. But when you think your child is ready, the toilet itself can be a barrier.
Well, the toilet, I think, was too big for them, and it scared them. And so when I told them their cousin had a little potty chair, and they had been over the cousin's house to see it, they liked it.
Maria Crisp owns a preschool and has more than 500 toilet training assists to her record. She's learned that a small-scale demonstration might also help.
Get a doll that ingests water and wets, and put it on the potty and show the child, and get a small potty that they can handle and do themselves.
This is the best time of year to start potty training as long as your child is physically and emotionally ready. Fewer, lighter, and easier to remove clothes can make it more convenient. This is Marcia Reese, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Good luck, and we'll be back in a minute.
Our topic today is a sensitive subject, toilet paper. The issue is thickness. Some say they're all the same. Our guest, the cloud who makes white cloud, says different.
Thanks, Sandy. If I can reach even one person with thicker tissue, it's worth it.
Hello,
Cloud. I've been through it. They're all the same.
Not White Cloud, ladies. Just look at how much thicker it is compared to an equal amount of the leading brand. Oh. And notice how soft.
Soft?
So soft and thick, you can feel the difference.
Tomorrow, men who hate changing the role and the women who love them.
White Cloud's new roll starter starts every time.
People are anxious. They have questions they want to ask before they see a dentist. That's why people call 1-800-DENTIST rather than look in the phone book. It makes sense. I can tell you how long they've been practicing, where they went to school, what special training they have. We have a lot of confidence in the dentists in our service. I mean, I do. I have to because I refer them to people all day long. You tell me where you live and I'll find you a great dentist. 1-800-DENTIST, may I help you?
We'll see you tonight. Bye-bye.
Coming up next, What's Cooking? Brought to you by Winn-Dixie.
Summer's a great time for cookouts, and it's a great time for low prices on U.S. choice beef from Winn-Dixie, the beef people. Fire up the grill for beef kebabs, while WD brand boneless full-cut round steak is $1.97 a pound. Harvest Fresh all-purpose potatoes are priced low at $1.68 in a 10-pound bag. Packages of Super Brand margarine quarters are 3 for $1. Plus, get low prices nobody can beat every day at your Winn-Dixie and Winn-Dixie Marketplace stores.
Venice. For hundreds of years, it was the key port in the trade between the East and Europe. The city grew rich and powerful. Much of its trade was made up of spices which were almost impossible to purchase except through the merchants of Venice. The cooks of Venice became famous for their cuisine, and they still are. One of the most famous places to eat these days is Harry's Bar. Their specialty is a rice dish called risotto.
Rice is the single most important food on our planet. 8 out of every 10 people in the world depend on rice for 40% of their food. And during the last few years, the consumption of rice in the United States has doubled. Harry appears to have noticed that because he has built himself a restaurant in New York called Bellini, where he makes his legendary risottos. A little oil goes into a pot, 1.5 cups of medium grain rice, a 1/2 cup of grated Parmesan cheese, very slowly, a little bit at a time, 4 cups of chicken broth. Keep stirring until you have a smooth, creamy texture. That's going to take about 20 minutes. You want all the moisture to be absorbed, then you're set. If you'd like a copy of that recipe, just send me a stamped self-addressed envelope marked Risotto Parmigiana. Send it to me at 30 Lincoln Plaza, New York City, New York. Zip code is 10023. From Bellini by Cipriani in New York City, that's what's cooking for today. I'm Bert Wolf.
If you're not here at Flint Furniture on West Colonial Drive, someone else is making an offer on just the furniture you've been wanting and walking out of the store with it right now. Friends, in 6 days, Flint Furniture will be swept out, locked up, and gone forever. This massive going out of business sale has put hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of fine furniture in homes just like yours at savings you'll never again see in your lifetime. Walk in now, make an offer, no reasonable offer refused. They mean what they say. Everything goes in the next 6 days.
When you have your film processed at Eckerd, it gets the Kodak Color Watch seal. That means that only Kodak systems and Kodak paper are used. What else? But that's not enough for Eckerd. No, because in an Eckerd lab, your film also goes through a careful inspection process. Then your prints are inspected too, and if there's a problem, it's labeled, so you can fix it next time. Only one place does all this, friends. Eckerd.
Eckerd photo processing. Nothing looks better.
Oh, that felt good.
Wednesday's Child, only on Eyewitness News.